What's up, y'all? Appreciate you tuning in to another video. Today we're going to be diving into my budget-friendly thumb button release. The Truball Rave, been shooting it just over a year. Want to dive into some of the features, some of the pros and cons, and then my overall opinion on the release. So if you like that, please like and subscribe. Leave some comments about what you think. Do you think it's a good price? Do you think it's a good budget release? I really do appreciate all the engagement and all the comments. Let's get into it. As an archer myself, comfortability, adjustability are some of the things I'm going to be looking for in a release. And with the Truball Rave, what I found is it does accomplish both of those. Now, it is not a $200 or $300 release. We're looking at budget friendly here. So let's keep that in mind as we dive into a few of these things, that some of the benefits and some of the cons are going to be tailored to the price. So first, let's dive into the price. This release comes in at $150, depending on where you pick it up. For that $150, you get the release, a thumb peg, and a wrist strap. So very basic, but it's in that middle-of-the-road price point, so it kind of does give you that budget-friendly aspect. So to start, let's dive into the price. So one of the most compelling reasons to consider this release is going to be the price point. At around $150, just depending on where you pick it up, it's going to be a great entry-level release for most archers. It gives you quite a few adjustabilities, it's very comfortable, fits most hands, and like I said, it comes in at just $150. So for someone who's wanting to step into the world of thumb releases, this price tag is really attractive, and I do think it's something that you should consider and check out. Let's get into the price. One of the most compelling reasons to consider this release is going to be the price point. For most archers just wanting to dip their toe into the world of thumb buttons, that $200 or $300 mark for some of those higher end brands like UV and Carter and Stan just isn't affordable. So with the Truball Rave, you're coming in at $150 just depending on where you pick it up. So it really does put you in that more budget friendly middle of the road price point, but it doesn't sacrifice on adjustability, comfort, or quality. So for people looking to consider jumping into the world of thumb buttons, I really do think it's something you should consider checking out. Go by your store, put it in your hands, see what it feels like. I think you'll truly like it. So now that we talked about price, let's jump into the adjustments. So this release provides you three main adjustments. You can adjust the thumb barrel placement, the trigger sensitivity, and the trigger travel. So as someone who's going to be new to thumb buttons, looking to just get into the world of it, I think that makes it very simple, very straightforward, and gives you enough adjustability to make this release fit your hand. With your Carters, with your UVs, with your stands, you might have a little more adjustability, a little more features, especially as those archers who are really high-skilled, long-term shooters that want to get more granular with their adjustments, but we're looking at budget-friendly, entry-level. So with the trigger sensitivity, this release is going to offer a range of adjustability when it comes to how sensitive that trigger is going to feel. So whether you like that crisp, light release or a trigger that you have to pull through a little more, this release is going to allow you to have that customization. So with trigger travel, it is adjustable. It's going to give you the ability to fine-tune the movement of when this release is going to fire. So if you prefer a long or a short release, this adjustment is going to allow you that personalization and give you that better consistency. So you can make it to where that release is going to fire the second you start pulling on it, or you can make it to where you really have to pull through your shot. So while it's not as customizable as some of those higher end brands, I really do think it gives you the basics that you need to get into thumb button releases. You can adjust your thumb barrel to fit your hand, you can adjust the trigger travel, how long it's going to take you to get that release to fire, and the sensitivity. So with those three adjustments, as a new to thumb button archer, I think you can't get any better. So let's dive into the pros. Like I've mentioned already, that $150 price point is going to be a pro for me. It's the middle of the road, allows you to get into a thumb button without breaking your bank. You're not going to be spending $200, $300 just to see if you like it. So it's held up over time. You're not going to sacrifice quality. And I think as you look through budget releases, you won't always find that. So I do highly recommend the Truball Rave on those. The trigger is a smooth feel. I found it releases quite well. You don't have any snags or jerks. So for me, that's going to be a big pro. As you look at some of those lower quality releases, you start to see that firing mechanism not really be as smooth as this. And so for me, with consistency, with the occasional punch, you're not going to be perfect every time. I think this smooth trigger feel really helps. The comfortable design. I have a bigger hand. It's pretty thick. It fits your fingers well. They've got some engravings in the last two finger loops to help with grip. And so it really does fit your hand well. I found it doesn't change my draw length that much. And so when considering how it's going to fit your hand, those are some things you really do want to think about and look at. And then lastly, the solid build quality. I mean, I've had this thing for over a year, taking it through the woods, beating it up, taking it to the range. It's held up, not even really a scratch on it. It still fires perfectly every time. Haven't had any issues with misfires. So when looking over the long term with that investment of $150, I think you're going to get that build quality with this release. So now that we've touched on the pros, let's look at the areas for improvement, some of the cons here. The limited customization is going to be a con just with any release that's in this budget-friendly area. So while it does offer some adjustability, you're not going to be as customizable as your premium models. There's no advanced features that really are going to let you get more granular with your trigger settings. If you're an experienced archer who really does like the fine tune, it makes a huge difference. Obviously, I think you're probably already in a high-end model, or you should be. The trigger size and shape, as you see, I've thrown the UV thumb button on here. The thumb button it comes with, it works. Didn't fit my hand well. You don't get any options or changes with the Truball Rave. So that's just something to consider. With those higher end models, you might get a couple thumb barrels. This one, obviously, you only get one. The third con is going to be there's no advanced features. You're not going to be able to switch between tension settings. It's just not super versatile. It's going to be your budget-friendly option. And so that's just what I want to reiterate for people is, while it does have some adjustability, it's not going to be your premium quality to where you can just tailor this thing down to the T. So after shooting this thing for a year, I feel it's a fantastic budget-friendly release for archers that are just looking to transition from an index into a thumb button. It's going to give you those three main adjustments: your trigger tension, your trigger travel, and your thumb barrel positioning. Allows you to really customize and personalize this release down to yourself. It's comfortable in hand. It's a one size fits most, something to consider. But when you're looking to just dip your toe into the world of thumb buttons, I don't think you can go wrong here. You're spending $150, it's keeping you middle of the road, and you're going to get a quality product that's going to hold up over the test of time. So if you're in the market, I really do think you should check out the Truball Rave. I appreciate you tuning into the video today. If you liked what you saw, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this release. Let me know what you're shooting, what you think is a good budget-friendly release. I'd love to get some other releases to review. Check out my other videos. I'm really appreciating all the love on the long-form content. Until next time.